and Hill that we have with the new building. And then we have Mass Media 1 and 2 moving towards names such as radio and podcasting, which will be one class, and the other one will be digital storm TV production. And then journalism becomes yearbook. Okay? And then I have Mr. Singleton here, okay, and he's going to talk about something new at Lincoln Junior High that is starting this month of March, and then we'll answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. So excited to talk about our new esports league that we're getting started at the junior high. And so before I get into kind of what esports is and kind of the format for how that works, I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the why behind it. As we know, schools change over the years and kids' interests change with them. And a big interest right now for our kids is gaming. So I think it's really important, one, that we meet kids where they are and identify what those interests are, but also what they're passionate about and how we could take advantage of that passion and involve that in our school to get some of those kids involved, maybe in a different way that they hadn't before. So if you want to go to the next slide, please. So kind of how esports works. Here are some of the games that kids will have options to play. Again, a lot of these are games that kids are already playing. At home, you're probably familiar with some of them. Your son or daughter has played them. So you have Minecraft, Mario Kart, Fortnite, Super Smash Brothers, Rocket League. There also is chess. So essentially how it works is we go through this middle school esports league, and this pairs our students essentially in competitions with students from not only other parts of Indiana, but other parts of the United States. So it's kind of, this middle school esports league is kind of the host domain. Kids would be assigned a username, and then they would be paired, and you can see they have a season, kind of much like you would see an athletic team. So right now we're kind of in the preseason phase. Again, it's new, so our sponsor for that is Megan Atkinson. And so she's really working right now. We've had some meetings after school. I can tell you the initial meeting for this, when we had interest, I think we had over 100 students that were interested in this esports. So right now we're kind of in that preseason, trying to get everything set up. You can see there's a regular season, and then they also have their playoffs and championship. Next slide, please. So kind of how it works as of right now, students actually compete from home, and there's 2 time slots, 5 p.m. and an 8 p.m. Slot. And depending on what game, again, they've chosen to kind of participate in, would decide what day and then what time. Some of the games are, they would compete as individuals. Other games they might compete in teams. We're also, again, going to make eligibility requirements in line with other extracurricular activities. So the academic requirements would be the same for our esports team as well. And what we're really kind of excited about, again, we're reaching kids that might not play a sport or might not have other interests or might not really feel a strong tie to the school. And again, playing on something that they're already interested in and already doing and making it a part of kind of Lincoln. I know it's excited, but also kids interacting with each other that they might not interact with. I mean, we had athletes, kids that were involved in athletics show up to the meeting, kids that weren't. So it's another opportunity, I think, for kids to get to know each other as well in ways that they might not do during the school day. So kind of our vision and next steps for this. Right now, as I said, kids are going to kind of play from home. Our vision is to have some nights during that 5 or 8 slot where we can maybe have a team or two come in and actually play from the school. We've been working with Mr. Fisher on this. There's some things we kind of have to get squared away, but he's been, I think he's excited about it as well. So he's working with us about kind of how we can do that from the school. I don't know if I'm going to hit on anything. No, don't put you on the spot here.
No, that's cool. So the biggest hurdle that we have in the technology department is we spend all of our time night and day trying to block things from schools and classrooms, right? So it makes for an interesting hurdle to try to allow this but not that, and maybe at this time but not during the day, and all those things. So it's been fun. We'll work it out. Team effort. We'll get it done.
Yeah, and I think also the hope, again, it would open up more opportunities maybe for those students that might not have internet access at home as well. So it's definitely something we're going to keep exploring, figure out maybe how we could do that. Also, again, I think it's a way to increase student achievement. As I said, when kids feel a part of something and they have a strong tie to the school, it's another way that, yes, tying some academic eligibility to this, but I just think when kids feel a part of something, you're going to see that student achievement increase. And then also just increasing interest in that STEM computer science fields. I know Mr. Galt talked about the gaming and computer science course. There's actually a lot of careers tied to that. We were in touch with a gentleman from Northeastern University that actually you can get a major in game design. And so just kind of talking with him, there's a lot of cool connections out there to be made. And again, this is something that a lot of our kids are doing at home, maybe to the chagrin of some of their parents. But it's something they're interested in, they're passionate about. So I think it's just another way, again, that we can kind of play on those passions and use it to our advantage.
Yeah, what questions do you have?
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. I think you want to go back to junior high.
Well,
No, not really.
There are new courses and some title changes that we would ask the board's approval on to present this evening.
Yeah. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. Are there any other questions or? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Okay. 3.8, Business Summer School Program for 2021.
Yes, that's me again. We're asking for approval to offer summer school options for students at various levels. We will be offering 2 sessions of summer school to our 9th through 12th grade students, and Plymouth High School Session 1 will run June 7th through June 25th, and Session 2 will begin June 28th and conclude on July 16th. Both of those sessions will begin at 8 a.m. and ends at 1:30. In an effort to address the academic gaps that have occurred as a result of the closing of schools during the pandemic, we look to offer a 1 3-week summer session to our current kindergarten through 6th grade students. This session will begin at 8 a.m. and end at 11 a.m. We will be determining the 3-week date range and the students that will be invited to attend in the coming weeks.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation.
So moved.
All right. Is there a second? Second. All right, I have a motion and a second. Are there any questions for
These
Jill?
are in-school classes.
Correct, in person.
Is the K through 6 going to be held in one location with just that many kids, or is it K through 6 across the board, like Webster, Jefferson, everybody would have a kindergarten class, right?
Right now, we're looking at a central location. Again, we're really looking at the students that have the academic gap that has transpired, and we're also need to get in line with Mr. Schultz with the summer projects.
And there's still work to be done as far as between now and the actual planning, so that could be more than that. It's possible. Just kind of depends. We just need the board's approval tonight to continue to move forward with that, continue discussion.
Definitely, we're not closing any options off. We just simply haven't accumulated enough data to just say.
So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Thanks, Jill. Consider corporation calendar for 2021-2022.
So the proposal before you for the calendar reflects the process of receiving feedback from teachers and staff, going through the discussion process with TDA, and having an additional ad hoc meeting to finalize some details. You'll see overall that the calendar looks pretty similar to the past couple of years. We'll begin the second week of August. There'll be a full week for fall break, a full week for spring break, and 2 full weeks for winter break. We are adding in 2 e-learning days throughout the next calendar year, building them in here in advance. One in the fall semester, one in the spring semester. Really, that's designed to help carve out some time. There are a lot of required trainings and professional developments that we need to get through, and to be able to do that during those time frames would be helpful. One in the fall will kind of give us a little test run as well for the e-learning day. The one in the spring, our discussion on that ad hoc meeting that I talked about, falls on Martin Luther King Day, and there's planning to do with this, but the conversation was that, let's craft some learning experiences via e-learning that would be about Martin Luther King and the impact of that. And so I really appreciated that conversation, dialogue, and ideas. Anyway, that's the calendar presented to you this evening for your consideration.
All right, you've heard the recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any other questions for Andy on the calendar? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. 3.10, consider student transfer deadlines for 2021-22.
Yes. So part of our policy allows students to transfer to the districts. We also establish those transfer deadlines as well as capacities annually. This document with a noted change, long year on there, should be May of 2022. So we'll note that as part of the motion here. Just reflects that which was established in years past, really no changes when it comes to the capacities or the general timelines of those things. It's just a procedural thing, but note that years on.
Okay. So with the change noted, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, 3.11, consider revisions to PCSC Student Handbook 2021.
So it's back at me.
Yep.
And I'm speaking on behalf of the core committee of Mr. Olson, Mr. Welch, and Mr. Hoppel. We had a full house in honor and respecting social distancing and our COVID-19. I'm taking this one for them. And so the annual handbook review for the 2021-22 school year, there are minimal changes at each level. And then any changes that have been recommended have been done by consensus with each level's committee. For our corporation level handbook changes, it is in reference to the student ID card. You'll find that on page 27. And in response to the transportation department and food services are making the changes related to the COVID spread, all students will be required to have an ID card. This card will be needed during lunch and to the board and for the bus in the mornings and afternoons. There is no cost for the original ID. ID cards must be returned in the event the student withdraws from the school for any reason, and replacement ID cards are available through student services office. Another change, and this is following the response to the DOE guidance, is on page 29, and it has to do with unexcused absences from school / truancy is not acceptable, and habitual truancy may result in a report to the Department of Child Services for educational neglect. Canvas access on page 31 is changed due to a teacher's suggestion and request to update how students who are away from school can access work while they are gone. So while absent, students in grades 5 through 12 may also check their teacher's Canvas page to get assignments each day. At the elementary level, there's an addendum regarding e-learning and attendance policy. All elementary students have 2 days to complete their e-learning day assignments. If students have difficulty because they need an additional teacher direction or if circumstances warrant, students may be given additional time. When an e-learning day has been announced, students need to log into their school's e-learning day hub for teachers' landing page. Students who are having difficulty with their assignments must connect with their teachers to receive additional supporting guidance. For Riverside Intermediate School changes, on page 11, e-learning attendance forms need to be completed by 3 p.m. With the addendum, Riverside teachers may give students who plagiarize an opportunity to redo an assignment. This grade may then be used, and if the student chooses to plagiarize a second assignment or exam, teachers may choose to assign students zero grade. So that again is an addendum to the current policy. Lincoln Junior High has no changes at this time. Plymouth High School changes are indicated on page 12. Change to the e-learning attendance form, sign at 10. And the change in practice is from 1 p.m. It's to change to 1 p.m. from 3 p.m. And this enables the school to make contact with students prior to being marked absent. There is a changed number of school food celebrations, change based on a student recommendation on page 47. 1 food celebration per quarter in class with the approval from administration. And then change for regarding prom and informal dance dress expectations on page 80. Response to student request that pantsuits be added to the approved attire. Students must be in formal dress. Formal dresses must be constructed in a manner that does not expose the midriff. A tuxedo, a suit with a collared shirt and tie, a dress pants with a collared shirt and tie, and or a pantsuit.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve the recommendation.
So moved.
Any questions? For Joe? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. And thanks to the team. Consider resolution 2021-3, continuation of expanded paid sick leave act.
Thank you. Probably familiar with the federal legislation that exists regarding this. That was renewed, but it was renewed as an option for employers. The first time it passed, it was an expectation, and now it's an option. We've been continuing it, but we needed to have a resolution which be approved by the board that would authorize us to continue to utilize that. And so, again, we're presenting this to you this evening. States that will uphold the practice of allowing up to 10 COVID days, and we call them internally related to COVID-related purposes, through June 30th of 21. The original law required through December 31st. FDA law allows us to expand that. We just felt like let's just finish through the school year with this. It's a practice and a policy that has worked. I think it's been helpful. And so we discussed this with PEA as well, and appreciate their support in that regard too.
All right, you've heard the recommendation. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion?
Just add one more thing. This is applicable to all employees.
All right. Thanks for that clarification. All right. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion carries. Item 4.1, monthly remarks.
Well, I wanted to highlight a couple of groups and individuals. We have some students from our Riverside robotics team who are competing in state competition this coming weekend. They're very excited. They've been doing things virtually and creatively, and they're pumped. So we wish them well. I also want to highlight our high school speech team that continues to do really well this season as they continue to advance in competition. Also, wanted to highlight Porteous, who you probably read the article on it. It happened very quickly, but applied for and received a rapid response grant from Marsh County Highway. Those funds are going to be used to help fund a program called Get School that is designed is educating our students about mental health resources, and we look for that to be helpful in that regard. We appreciate their efforts there. Kindergarten Roundup is happening, kind of in the middle of it. So we had a virtual Roundup meeting from our principals. They hosted a live virtual event for parents to come to and just kind of learn some informational pieces. And now, we didn't have that last spring. They're going to do things in person. They're just doing it by appointment. And so we're scheduling appointments going to be throughout March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So we're excited about that. Kindergarten Roundup is always an exciting time when it comes to looking ahead to the upcoming school year with the parents as well as kindergarten starts to occur. Incoming kindergartners getting ready for school. I also want to make you aware that we are starting to explore the possibility of adding an alternative education program, and it's just work that we're doing right now, a study that we've got some individuals looking into. But we'd like for this one to be tied to our vocational cooperative and linking students who may be in that program to some of our vocational programs. I want to be very clear that this does not change anything with our current alternative education program. Mrs. Duran does a great job, and we're just looking to create some, maybe an additional program that's tied to our vocational cooperative. And so more to come on that, but I just want you to be aware that that's a study and exploration is currently happening. Lastly, I had my weekly meeting with Morris County Health Department and County Superintendents. We have that every Tuesday. I had that today, and I really appreciate that group. We've learned a lot together throughout the course of the past year. Today's discussion, among other things, was just talking about spring events. And the discussion was around, if our county metrics continue to be where they are, which is at a much better place than what we had experienced previously. We'll look at how we can expand our plans for hosting various events, especially as the weather starts to improve. We talked about commencement. We talked about some other types of spring opportunities that might be able to be forthcoming as long as things continue down the positive path that we're on. And so that's encouraging. It's hopeful. Still following and establishing some safe protocols in the scope of doing those things. But just some positive comments there. All that to say, my gratitude continues to be extended to our teachers and staff. We've been in school this year, and we've done it safely, and that's because of the individuals that we have working for us and committed to that. And it's not been easy. Our school district personnel says very clearly they need to have access to the vaccine. It's past time, in my opinion, and I would hope, in the scope of a new manufacturer receiving versus approval, that, and I say this because it's a part of our conversation today, our local health officials are hopefully saying this is going to be opened up because it's past time. And it's getting great. So, next meeting, Tuesday, April 6th, 7 p.m.
Thanks, Andy. Any questions for Andy? Are there any other questions from the audience? No. Hearing none. Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn. So, is there a second? Second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.